One of the most shocking and influential things I ever learned about muscles is that they don't work the way I thought they did. And once I understood this, it unlocked a whole new world for fixing posture and pain. What's crazy is that most people and most of the fitness and rehab industry also has an incomplete picture of how muscles work. You see, we learn how muscles work and their function in the standard anatomical position like this, standing upright with our palms out and our legs underneath us. But this is only a snapshot as to how muscles function in this position. For example, my hip muscles do one thing in this position, but when I move into a position of hip bend or knee bend, all of a sudden the function of these muscles can dramatically change, if not flip to the opposite function. For example, take your piriformis muscle on the backside of your pelvis. Traditionally, this muscle is known as an external rotator because when it contracts, it pulls the femur forward within the hip socket. However, if I move into a meaningful amount of hip flexion or hip bend where my knees are being pulled close to my chest, all of a sudden now when this muscle contracts or shortens, it's going to pull the femur into internal rotation. So its action completely flipped depending on the position of the hips. And this is just one example. Muscles all around your hips and even your upper body share this similar principle. And that principle is that joint position dictates muscular function. So a lot of people think that they have really tight muscles in a given area, like their piriformis if they have, let's say, sciatica, and they try to just stretch their piriformis all day long. But actually what might be helpful is getting the piriformis to work less as an external rotator and better as an internal rotator, just in a different shortening action. And this is just one example. A lot of the muscles around your hips and even your upper body share a similar principle, and that is that joint position dictates muscular function, not the other way around. This is a big reason why people that stretch all the time or do your traditional corrective exercises don't see the results that they're looking for. For example, people with sciatica are oftentimes told they have an overactive piriformis that's too strong and tight, gluing the backside of the pelvis together and putting stress on that sciatic nerve. So they need to stretch out the piriformis to get better space back here. But what that misses is it doesn't mean that the piriformis is always short and tight and too strong and overactive all the time. So a big reason why this muscle might be carrying a lot of tone around all the time is because your body lacks the genuine joint actions to move into a position of internal rotation. So your piriformis doesn't have the ability to actually express variability throughout the day because you're missing a huge component of what your piriformis does, which is control that internal rotation. And this is just one example of many to get your brain churning and thinking a little bit differently. If you want to learn more about this specific example of the piriformis, check out my YouTube video I recently released on sciatica and the piriformis.